Hello, and thank you for watching. This is Alex Zemianek, the founder and CEO of the JZ Vacation Rentals brand. I'm going to take 15 minutes to do a quick overview of our service demo, everything from who we are as a team to what specifically we do differently in our competitive edge. And then as well, we'll end it with the next steps moving forward in the onboarding process, what that would look like. So diving in here, this is our leadership team. Everyone here is 5+ years, from maintenance, housekeeping to operations, sales. These are all of the department leaders. Collectively, we have 30 years of construction experience, 15 years of real estate investment experience. We started out buying, funding, rehabbing, and furnishing the first 7 homes many years ago. Now we primarily just help others. And we have 10 years of property management experience, 9 years of short-term rental management experience. And we now manage short-term, long-term, mid-term, and office rentals, but all have a very specific criteria. We don't accept every property. We don't accept every application that comes in to join our brand. We're very selective, and we prioritize the guest experience. What is our competitive edge? So some of the things we're going to talk about is the things that we'll review throughout this presentation is the differences. Number one, we're a brand. The 95% of the property managers in the United States are co-host, which basically means that they'll take your property, give it to the travel agents, and they're primarily scaling a model of managing the property, but not necessarily a booking engine themselves. Our strategy, our marketing strategy, has always been on guest acquisition versus owner acquisition. We believe if we do that right, then our owner acquisition will be easier because we're growing the right way via word of mouth and referral base. We are always focused on quality over quantity, from relationships to employment to the homes to our partnerships across the board. As we get into the different ways to market, I want to just kind of talk through how do you take these properties and market them to be successful in the short-term rental model. Most people know this industry as the Airbnb industry, which is really one of hundreds of travel agents that are out there. Airbnb has done a great job mainstreaming the industry with its name. It started in 2008 and have grew since. A lot of the what is known as online travel agents there's hundreds of them, and a lot of them have been around for over 100 years. In some countries, that's all that's available. So we partner with all of these travel agents and list your property on up to 100 travel agent websites with one calendar, one software, and one connection system. Additionally, because of our relationship with these travel agents, we also lift you to the top of the search status via their algorithms by earning certain badges such as Superhost and Premier Partner. What you're looking at here is just an example of what it looks like when you go online and Google and you're searching for a home. You're going to see the top one here is Verbo's listing for our property that is on their site, and then the bottom one is Expedia. So all of these different travel agents they're gonna bring over the listing that we create in our software, and they'll have all of their own listings. So they're trying to get the market share because they get paid by the guests, and they also get paid collectively by the owners. So our goal is to continue to grow our own brand, our own revenue and bookings for the owners by investing into digital marketing. This is now a guest booking leads source report, ran for 1 quarter. We'll look at these weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. And what you see here is just rental revenue that was earned and generated by the specific source. I just put some of these in here for illustration. The bottom one, which led the way, is Verbo. You can see is almost $200,000 in rent revenue generated from Verbo. We came in second, which is always great to see, 125,000, and we're continuing to grow and take a run after the market share. HomeAway came in third, and then Airbnb almost last place. And as far as what was distributed in guests to each property. As we get into how we do that, how we go out and grab that 125,000 of that rental revenue, there's lots of different ways to go get marketing, and it's the same marketing that the travel agents do. We just do our own. So we have StayFi is a technology platform. We have a large tech stack. This is just one of many that we use. StayFi will set up a router system in each home, and the guest, just like on a Starbucks or a hotel, they will have a Jay-Z Vacation Rentals network. It'd be essentially a router, an extra router that helps to boost the system, and it helps to provide another casting system that will collect emails, phone numbers, and connect the guest to their Wi-Fi. In all of the homes, we have placards, different ways that they can quickly just walk up, type in their password, connect to the internet, or they can scan this QR code. We make it really, really easy. And then that helps us to grow our audience list, because we're no longer trying to capture just the booker, but we're capturing everybody that enters the home and tries to connect to Wi-Fi. We can retarget to that audience. Our goal is to continue to grow this quality over quantity audience that sees the benefits to staying with a brand, because you can go to any other city that our brand is in, just like a hotel, and know what to expect. And we have this inspection list that we make sure that every home adheres to a consistent, what we call our 150-point guest standard list. And what happens is we continue to send that out to our guests to educate them when we enter new areas, cities, add new properties, and continue to bring them back directly into our own family of properties. We do social media, 2 ads monthly. That's what you see here. It's just an example for Facebook and Instagram. We also have marketing pixels on our site. So anytime you were to jump onto any site, I'm sure you've seen that you'll have these ads that will pop up. So depending on what you're Googling, what you're on in the site, then you're going to have ads on your Insta feed or Facebook feed shortly after. We do the same. Then Google, we have Google Adwords. There's 2 ways to bring people to Google and to make sure that we're indexed at the top of the search. You can either pay for it, which is what Google Ads is, or you can do it organically, which is called search engine optimization, or SEO for short. To do search engine optimization, you're writing blogs or you're putting content on your site that has keywords that bring people to your site. So that could be what events are going on in St. Louis, what are some things to do in Lake of the Ozarks, things to do around Forest Park. We'll write all kinds of content, and then it gets indexed by Google, puts us at the top of a search engine. And when we're paying for it, it rises you to the top either way because it's sponsored. And so all of our paid ads go to getting guests again, and not necessarily to owner acquisition. Then we do dynamic pricing, similar to what happens with a hotel or an airline industry. When you try to book a Southwest flight and it's 5 days from now, it's going to be a lot more expensive because the flight's getting full. If you're booking it 6 months from now, then it's cheaper because the flight's not full. The opposite happens in the vacation rental industry. We do yielding, the same dynamic yielding, where it will price the home differently depending on how many days out. The difference is if it's occupied and it is in 6 months and it's 50% occupied, it will start to raise that price by 20%, and it'll continue to ramp that price up for the guests that choose to book in advance. Well, guests see quality, they're willing to pay for it, so they do pay more for it to reserve these homes in advance. The average guest will book at least 40 days in advance and up to 2 years. And if the reverse happens, if we're trying to fill occupancy or fill a void in 7 days or up to 2 days, then it's going to continue to ramp and drop the price all the way up to 40% to reduce that rate. That way we're always the most competitive, and making sure that we are also putting that up against the comparables in the market. Then we're going to get into some of the tech stack. What are some of the things that we partner with? These are 3 of many that we use, but 3 that are important that make up safety, monitoring, protection, and compliance. The first one, we're going to go through Guest Ranger, a screening software, PointCentral, which is our home automation, and then NoiseAware, which monitors privacy noise decibels in the home. Starting with Guest Ranger, we partner with this system and pay for this in order to screen guests properly and make sure that we have a screening system. So when a guest books, it will automatically trigger a link. It's very easy. They click on that link. It will ask them to do a facial recognition and then take a photo of their ID. This eliminates lots of fraud. Fraud happens all the time in this industry, and it is not fun when it gets charged back later, because we both lose that booking altogether if it wasn't legit. So now we've put things into place that helps us to stop the guest before, either that partying guest or whatever that may be. We want to stop it before it happens. Then we have PointCentral home automation. This is everything from delivering codes to the guests to make sure that they have a full encompassing system for easy check-in, a smart thermostat that has occupancy-based rules. It's kind of similar to a Nest, but a little bit more sophisticated and proprietary for this system. The deadbolts automatically relock. It has timing for check-in and check-out, and lots of cool stuff for early check-in. Allows us to have that automation that we need to provide a great experience. Then we have NoiseAware. So as we monitor, we try to screen, we try to prevent. Sometimes that doesn't always stop a loud situation. We want to be notified before the neighborhood, before the city, before the neighbors, and we want to make sure that we're keeping compliance and keeping crowd control and monitoring the noise. So what this will do is alert the guest if they breach a predetermined decibel range in the home. It's going to track consistent noise breach, so it won't just send out a notification for just something that happened short and brief. It looking for multiple incidents, and then it'll also trigger out a second message if they still haven't toned it down. It's called auto resolve, and it's a beautiful feature to make sure we're staying on top of the homes. We're a one-stop shop, so we design the homes, stage the homes, help with assembly. If they're already designed, if it's an existing short-term rental or Airbnb, then we come in with our checklist, and we will provide an invoice and detailed invoice line by line of exactly what we need in order to bring it up to that guest standards, which is essentially a list of items that have all came from 4-star reviews or anything less than a 5. So we have our packages listed here. Then we get into the steps. The way that it works is you start working with our designer. You pick a concept. Some people want to be completely hands off. We wanted to create a system and process for the ones that want to be hands on or may want to pick out just the scheme. And then our designers will work with you, kind of make sure that each home is not getting that corporate-y look. We want them all to have their own personality, but we are shooting for consistency. So certain amenities we do require as a brand to make sure that we're always staying on top of those consistent standards across the board. Some of the things to review. So the Jay-Z difference, I briefly mentioned it, when we put a property on these different travel agent sites, such as Airbnb or Vrbo, the first bullet here is saying that we give instant superhost status. That's a badge you have to earn. It takes many stays, have to have certain credentials. Since we already have that as a brand, everyone gets that immediately, and you're already on those filters from day one versus trying to do it on your own and waiting to earn that credential. Same with Vrbo. We have these credentials and relationships with these travel agents that help to boost your visibility. Then we have residual direct bookings. If you look over to the right, you'll see a book now. That's now a tool, another tech that we partnered with that will allow our guests to now see on our site the difference if they book with us direct or if they were to book on Airbnb. That helps to improve our overall direct bookings as well, which means more money in our owners' pockets. Then we have a lot of systems that I'll go through quickly in our final minute here that we send out owner booking notifications. Transparency is key for us. So we'll send a cha-ching email every time there's a booking. There's an owner portal. You could download an app via the App Store, an Owner X. We send out monthly statements by the 15th of every month. It's very detailed, goes over the commission and bookings. We have a trust accounting system, direct deposit. And then, if you decide to move forward, we have a fully just organized onboarding process. Everything, we break it up into phases. The first step is to sign and review the management agreement. We collect a retainer for our service to get started before we visit the property, before anything else. It tells us you're serious and also helps us to create an escrow account for you and set up an account for you and be able to start paying utilities or whatever we need to get you started. Then we'll get out there. The whole team will go through this process, get proposals. We do an inspection, everything, and we organize it all and get it back to you and start to get everything prepared for